He's got a touchdown.
Impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
There, he's got it. End zone. Touchdown, Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle.
Yes, sir. It is a miracle, just like that Tennessee Titans wild card game, right? So, welcome to the special, Thursday episode of the Football Frame of Mind. We got a special guest here, as y'all can see. Brandon, introduce our special guest, man. Introduce him.
Audio's kind of tripping.
I hear you fine.
I'm saying, okay. What did you say? Because I didn't hear everything you had said. I'm sorry. I
was just saying introduce our special guest. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Welcome, Matt Moscona. How do you pronounce your last name? Because I've said
you nailed it.
I did? Okay,
you
cool.
nailed it, bro. Them vowels trip up people all the time, man, but you nailed it. Moscona, like a breakfast scone.
Perfect.
Some people just call me Scone. You can stick with that if that's easier.
So with 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, after further review, and aren't you on a couple other things as well, correct?
Yeah, man, I do a lot. I believe in 2025. If you are by trade, I'm a radio host, right? I've been in radio for 22 years, but in 2025, man, our job is to make sure that we make ourselves available to our audience, however, whenever, whatever format they want. So, yeah, man, I host a morning live stream every single day. Been doing that for every day for 8 years now. Literally never missed a day. Nights, holidays, weekends, don't matter. I do the Locked On LSU podcast. I have my daily radio show, and there's a bunch of other ancillary things that I'll do as well in football season. But yeah, man, content is king, man. You got to be everywhere. So I try to be everywhere. I tell people all the time, you can spell my name, you can find me online.
Okay. No. I
gotta stay on the go.
Yeah. So starting with your beginning, right? So what got you into sports anyway? And was football your first love?
So, I mean, you grow up in Louisiana, and I was born in New Orleans, lived most of my life in Baton Rouge, but you grow up in Louisiana, everybody sort of genuflexes the purple and gold altar. You grow up basically scheduling your days around football Saturdays and the purple and gold. But in New Orleans, my weekends were, we drive up from New Orleans, go to the LSU games, tailgate on the old front nine, go to the LSU game Saturday night, go home. Sunday, we'd wake up, church, Shoney's breakfast buffet, then we're in the dome. So, yeah, just to say that I'm a purple and gold, black and gold lifer, that's been my thing. But the interesting thing is, man, as much as I love sports, I never wanted to do sports. I went to school. I was a journalism major, and I wanted to do news. I mean, I love sports, but I thought sports as a career was just kind of trivial. And I was in school during 9/11, and it was obviously a transformative event in our world.
Yeah.
And for someone in journalism school at the time, I watched the job that a lot of those reporters and anchors did covering that. And I was like, that's what I want to be. And so I did. I started news when I was still in college at LSU in the J school. But man, after about 4 or 5 years of doing news, I realized I hated it. And I was looking for a career pivot. I was actually accepted a job in Atlanta to go help start a Catholic radio station. Long story long, the job fell through, was offered an opportunity to be a producer at a sports talk station for 2 days a week. Didn't have anything else, so I took it. And this was in May of 2007. And man, I think they realized I had a little more competency but a weird gap in programming. And so when football season rolled around, they offered me a 1-hour radio show from 3 to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. And that fall, LSU won the national championship in football. I was hooked and never quit doing sports, man. So I made the jump to the ESPN affiliate in 2010 in Baton Rouge. When they launched that affiliate, they hired me to be their afternoon drive guy. So they really launched the station around me and kind of took a shot on me to grow it. And Man, I've been doing that job for 15 years now. We've won every award you can win, ratings, revenue, all that stuff. Been really blessed to do what I do in my hometown, covering teams I love. I always say, man, as long as they keep paying me to sit on my butt and talk about sports, I'll keep doing it, man. It's a pretty good gig if you can get it.
Yeah.
I might imagine.
Yeah. So, next question for me. If I'm a sports new to it or whatever, I'm new to college football and I'm just getting into it, what era of LSU football should a person start with if they were new to it and they're like, I like LSU, and they don't want to just start with the 19 championship? What era should they start with?
Now I'm a little confused, man, because I'd say you just start with the present. You start rolling. But if you want to go back and learn, man, you could learn from the beginning. But I'll tell you, like, I can only speak for my favorite, which was, I mean, I've been fortunate, man. Like, yeah, I lived through it. People forget this, man. From 1989 to 1994, LSU had 6 straight losing seasons. That sounds foreign now because of what LSU football has become. But they were bad, man. And the concept of winning a championship was so foreign here. It felt like forbidden fruit. And so when Nick Saban was hired, and I always say this, man, like being an LSU guy and, you know, what LSU and Bama's been since Nick showed up, Lord knows I have my fun with Alabama fans. But I love Nick Saban. You know, I was in school at LSU when Nick was the coach. And it's hard to put yourself back in that frame of mind. But when Nick Saban was hired, just the idea of getting to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, that felt like a dreamland. Like, that wasn't real. I mean, when LSU in Nick's second year got to Atlanta, I remember the line at the LSU ticket office to get tickets was so long. People were like sleeping outside the ticket office to get tickets to the SEC championship game. That's not a thing anymore. I mean, you go so often, and they win that game. They upset Tennessee, and they're going to a Sugar Bowl. Y'all, this was during finals. People were skipping finals to go line up. And I'll never forget, man, if you're familiar with the campus, there's like this big, tall bank-looking building in the parking lot next to Tiger Stadium. That's where the ticket office is. And students were lined up at that ticket office, down toward the stadium, and then all the way down to South Stadium Drive. I mean, you're talking like 300 yards of a line, people like skipping finals to wait in line to get Sugar Bowl tickets.
That's a lot.
When LSU played Illinois. It was, I mean, so I would say then, of course, they won the national championship in 2003. That was such a fun era because it was the first time. It wasn't the first time because they won it in 58, but it had been 45 years. And for so many people, so many generations of fans, they don't remember. I don't remember Billy Cannon. I mean, I know of it, of course. I mean, I've seen all the black and white highlights, but it was the first time for so many of us that we experienced LSU football being great. And it happened during my years in college. I was a senior in 03 when they won the national championship. So, man, watching Nick's days at LSU, I mean, 2019 is the greatest college football team ever. The 07 team was so much fun to watch. You can roll your eyes all you want. You want to go there? We'll go there. I've had this out. I've had this out with Clinton Portis for about 01 Miami, and you being a Bama fan, I know you're going to say 2020 Bama, but you can take that fake COVID season playing with nobody in the stands and shove it right in where you want to go, bro. That's 2020. I know what you're thinking. I know what Bama fans think. Bama fans think 2020. Let me ask you a question, Mac. Let's start here. Mac Jones or Joe Burrow? Who you taking?
Mac Jones.
Brandon, how you do a show with this guy? You can be honest. Honest. I know what Alabama is. They're a great program. But 2019 LSU would blow the doors off of any team in the history of college football, including 2001 Miami. Here's the big misconception about 2001 Miami. People remember all the guys that got drafted, but you forget those weren't guys that were impactful in 2001. You're like, oh, look at the running backs. Clinton Portis was great. Willis McGahee, he didn't play on the 01 team. Rode the bench. Never saw the field. Calvin or Andre Johnson was the number 1 receiver on that team. Yep. You know the number 2 receiver was on the 01 Miami team?
Oh, I don't know. Was it Reggie Wayne? No.
Hell no. What Reggie Wayne was long gone by then. It was a guy named Ethnic Sands. Now let me ask you a question. Jamar Chase was the number 1 on 2019 LSU. You will know who the number 2 was?
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin freaking Jefferson was the number 2 on that team. Anybody want to go with this? Let's go with this. I mean, 2019 LSU would beat the holy hell out of any team ever. And let's go here with 0-1 Miami. Okay.
Oh, man.
Joe Burrow or Ken Dorsey?
Agreed. And they played, and I made this point a while back, and everybody wants to hype up Miami, but look at the conference they were playing in. Put them in the SEC.
Brother, they played
a
game, that 0-1 Miami team played a game in Chestnut Hill against Boston College where they did not score an offensive touchdown. Boston College didn't score an offensive touchdown. Like, that was a really good team. That was a really great team. 2019 LSU would have kicked the hell out of that team. Clemson had 4 first-rounders on the defensive line. LSU hung 46 on them. Come on.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I've been waiting for someone to share the same sentiment. Let's talk.
Look, I like that team. I do. I love that team, man, because the game that we played was like really good. Like I like the fact that you guys started off so fast, right? To the point where it's like, oh wow, like we gotta do something on defense, or this is really gonna be nasty, right? And it turned out to be a closer game at the end, right? But that was such a good game, bro. I'm sorry, man. that was exciting.
That game was never in doubt. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire spiking the ball in front of a ref right before halftime. That ref was so dumbfounded at what he was watching, he didn't even bother to throw a flag. But yet, you had Devontae Smith deking Derek Stingley, faking like he's going to let up, and then he burns him on a go route because he like some Bush League nonsense. But whatever, that's what you got to do to get back in the game. All right, whatever. And then LSU, they had Joe Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire spin moving, trucking dudes at the goal line, man. Bama wanted none of that day. Wanted absolutely none. Nobody wanted any of that team. 2019 LSU, greatest team ever.
Hey, I like the team, bro. I do. I just think it's so unfair, man. It's like when I talk to Brandon about it, I'm like, yo, what was y'all on?
I don't know.
Dude,
like, what was y'all on?
The switch went off, bro. The roster was loaded from top to bottom. The depth was there. Everything just lined up at the right time.
Yeah.
And week 1 from on, like you just seen it. Every single week it was like more and more and more. And it's like, dude, who's gonna stop them? And obviously
they were
nobody
awesome.
did.
They were awesome, man. It was so much fun to watch. They played a brutal schedule. They just dump trucked everybody. They won every national award. Y'all ever seen that Mike Green? Every year, whenever the national championship happens, I always go retweet this Mike Greenberg video from First Take the next day or whatever, or Get Up the next day, where he basically rattles off everything that team accomplished, how bad they beat everybody. He's like, I'm not sitting there trying to argue with anything. I'm just telling you, this is the greatest team that ever played. And he's right. I mean, it's just maybe someday a team will come along and be better than them, but boy, that'll be a steep hill to climb because when you go player by, and the thing that I said even at the time was, history is going to be kind to 2019 LSU because all those dudes are going to go to the NFL and be great. And then when they're great in the NFL, people go, you mean to tell me that team had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson all this? Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, me being a Bama fan, I love the rivalry, right? It's fun. Like, it was always fun to watch that, even in high school. Brandon can tell you, I'm the only guy at a Louisiana high school with an Alabama shirt on.
Oh,
so,
it was
how old are you, Cameron? Cameron, how old are you? 31.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was sitting there.
So you're the definition of a front runner.
Not necessarily. So my history with Alabama is kind of hit or miss because I started in the Shula era, right? And then he's gone, right? That's when I started to pick it up fully, right? And then
crazy. He started to pick it up fully when the greatest coach ever went to coach there and started winning championships.
Didn't know he was though.
Yeah, we all knew.
I didn't know he was. I was new to it.
So why did you pick? So where are you from in Louisiana?
Oh, he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis. I don't have no team. And then I relocated to Louisiana actually 2003, honestly. But I wasn't.
So that's a little better. If you're from St. Louis, that's a little better. But even still, you're a front runner. Like if you pick Bama, why did you pick Bama?
Because everybody else liked LSU.
No, dude, but see, no. Because if you came, when did you move to Louisiana?
I moved to Louisiana in like 03. That's what my
okay. You came to Louisiana in 03. LSU and Bama wasn't a thing then. LSU beat Bama like 6 straight years. So, like, LSU and Bama wasn't a thing in 03.
It doesn't have to be a thing. Everywhere.
But the point is, like, if you're living in Alabama and everybody in your town's a Bama fan, you say I'm a cheer for Auburn because there's a very obvious contrast. It's like Yankees, Red Sox, Texas A&M. Like 03, there was no LSU Alabama. That only really started to become a thing again whenever Nick went to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
maybe it was just a different alternate option.
I've seen everything LSU. I'm like, yo, I can't.
That's weird.
I can't do it. I have to be different. So I'm like, I'm rooting for.
At least you pick Arkansas, because then you'd be like worshiping swine and doing spirit fingers and whoop and all that crap.
I mean, he is really big on that 3 running back room they had with McFadden and.
Bro, that was great. I mean, Peyton Hillis, Felix Jones, there was a great team. I just mean like
as a whole,
their mascot is a pig. Their cheers, they're calling the Hogs, and they go. Like spirit fingers, it's just weird.
They're a very odd group of fans to say.
Like the hills have eyes type thing.
Yeah, man. Like I was like, I can't do Arkansas either. I was like, nah, I can't do it. But like I said, I really did like that 3-headed monster though. I was like, yo, like how do you stop that? Like,
well, man, that's a bad memory for a lot of LSU fans. Because in 07, that was senior night. LSU was number 1 in the country, and they lost a triple overtime game to that Arkansas team with McFadden, Jones, and Hillis.
Dude, that was miserable.
Yeah,
like, come on, man, heartbreaker.
So
it worked out in the end.
Yeah. So what? So what coming into this season? LSU obviously has great expectations, right? Like you got the quarterback returning, you got Caden Durham, right? Harold Perkins is coming back, so depending on what he can give you, that's good. So what's the temperature of the LSU program, or is it confidence, quiet confidence?
Yeah, I think there's so next week we'll all be in Atlanta for SEC football media days. Mm-hmm. And I think next week is when collectively the SEC and sort of the college football loving world is finally going to start to pay attention to what LSU did this offseason. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work, right? Just to be very clear. I'm not making some bold prediction like they're going to win the national championship and be awesome. But what LSU did this offseason was they went and bought the best portal class in the country. Mm-hmm. They went and did what Ohio State and Ole Miss did last year, what Florida State did 2 years ago when they went undefeated. Like, they were unapologetic and not bashful at all about it. They became very cash rich, the collective did, at the right time. They missed out on Bryce Underwood and a couple of other big prospects they had large NIL deals allocated for, and they took all of that money and dumped it into this transfer portal class, and they had a bunch of pissed off rich people because Bryce Underwood flipped at the last minute, and they were like, what y'all need? And people were just flooding money into the collective. And LSU went and bought 18 transfers that were all starters at Power Fives. Some of them were all conference guys a year ago. Like, this roster that LSU put together is capable of winning the national championship. And I'll tell you this, man. And I know what a lot of people think that, well, can Brian Kelly get over the hump, all this stuff? And you're not wrong. I mean, can Nussmeier purge some of the bad throws? You're not wrong. Those are fair questions. But this roster is probably going to be the most talented roster in the SEC. And I say that fully understanding Georgia, Bama, Texas, all of that. And a big differentiator is the fact that you've got the leading returning passer in college football coming back. And I think a lot of people have ignored that with Garrett. Like, he's the only guy that threw for 4,000 yards a year ago that's back this year. So all the hype about Arch Manning, he's played 3 games. He may be great. I don't know if he will. But Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards last year. And that experience is invaluable. And now he's back for a 5th season. And you loaded him up with a ridiculously talented roster. Like, this team, I think, baseline should be 10-2 and in the playoff. Now, when you get there, who knows what happens with the draw and how. I mean, look, guys, Ohio State last year, lost 2 games. They figured it out at the right time. Yeah. Oregon was undefeated, was the best team in the country. They had a crappy draw. They had to go play Ohio State again in the Rose Bowl. I mean, sucks for them. Like, they were a great team, got a crappy draw. So once you get there, you never know how it may play out, but they should get there, man. If they're not there, like if they're not in the playoff,
that's an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
Then you start to have a real conversation about what does your future with Brian Kelly look like? Because if you can't get in a 12-team playoff with this roster, there's a very real question about is he the guy to be able to get you there?
Yeah. Like I said, we both kind of looked at the Brian Kelly, coming to LSU like, whoa, like, because was at Notre Dame for so long. I was like, that's like a job that you stay at. You retire at Notre Dame. They got all the stuff that, in terms of TV deals and everything. So you got that moniker, right? So when he signed with LSU, I think we both were like, yo, what's going on there? Like, how much did they offer him? Because we always came to the point that it's tough to win at the academic standard schools, just naturally, because it's just hard to get players to go there, right? But him coming to LSU, I was like, okay, now you really got access to some players, right?
Yep.
Or better players than you ever had through your whole tenure, your whole career almost, So I'm like, now let's see, So, being a neutral, it's kind of like I want to see him do good too, because it's like, yo, you've been waiting your whole career to have these kind of players, right?
Yeah.
So let's do it.
It's true, man. He, he's the winningest active coach in college football. And to be clear, guys, so before Brian Kelly came here, I didn't really have a strong opinion on him. I didn't know him at all. I saw what everybody else saw, yelling guy on the sideline, but I just didn't care. I mean, whatever. But since he's been here, he's been great to work with. So I don't have an unkind thing to say about Brian Kelly. The man, he's been perfectly, respectful, agreeable, easy to work with for us. Anyway, I have nothing bad to say about him personally. I think when he got here, I think what you said, Cameron's right. Like, I don't think he ever had an intention of leaving Notre Dame, but I think for a guy that's coached as long as he has, he's the winningest active coach in college football. And he had gotten to 3 playoffs. We got to a BCS championship game in the playoff twice at Notre Dame. And every time he ran into a team with a roster that looked like Alabama or Clemson, and he just couldn't compete. He didn't have the bodies, the Jimmies and the Joes to win once he got there. And so when LSU came calling, the money had to make sense, but it's not that he's making an exorbitant amount of money that he wouldn't have made at Notre Dame. I mean, he was making a lot of money there. I think it was the realization that he had an opportunity to win at a place where not only did Nick Saban win a championship, but Les Miles and Ed Ogeron won championships. And I think if you're Brian Kelly, he's looking at that going, if those guys won there, I should be able to win there. So they're giving him the resources to do it. But this is really the opportunity, though, guys, because, man, we just talked about, you go that heavy in the portal. And all those guys are 1-year mercenaries. After 2025, you're losing Nussmeier and you're losing all those transfer guys. So it's natural to think in 26, you're probably going to regress. So, I mean, this is the year. Like, circle it on the calendar and go, no, this This is the one where you need to get in that playoff and go make your move.
Yeah. I mean, with everything they've done in the offseason, do you see a spot on this team where you're like, this is like the strongest group and maybe like the weakest link? Because I know last year there was still a lot of like question marks with the secondary. I know you're bringing Perkins back, you're bringing Weeks back, you get Pyburn in the transfer portal, you get a lot of really strong players, especially on offense. You get a lot faster, especially at the receiver position. Like, do you look at this team and you see a group that's like, I feel really good about, probably the strongest group, and maybe another one you're like, I'm kind of not so sure how that's going to go?
I think the deepest group is probably a receiver. I mean, they were already going to be really good, and they added Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, who's, I mean, Pro Football Focus rates him as the 4th best receiver for next year's draft. The guy didn't even play last year due to injury. I mean, he's 6'4", 210, can fly. He's a freak. They added him. They added Barron Brown from Kentucky, who's literally the fastest player in college football. Yeah. That's on top of Aaron Anderson, who's your leading returning receiver from a year ago. Like, they're super deep and talented there. I mean, newsflash, LSU has good receivers. I mean, they always do. What's interesting is, I think that you ask people, like, the biggest question on this team, everyone's going to say the offensive line because you lose 4 starters. And it's maybe a thing, guys, like where we circle back in December, January, and you play this clip and you'll be like, man, that guy's an idiot. Like, how did you not see this? Because I get it. You lose 4 starters on the offensive line, including 2 tackles over 3-year starters, one which was the 4th pick in the draft in Will Campbell.
Yeah.
But guys, like, LSU was 104th in the country in rushing offense last year. Like, let that sink in. The school that once said Les Miles is the head coach, that could not throw the ball and just ran it all the time, was 104th in rushing offense. So they were very good in pass protection. But running the football was a real struggle. And I look at what they did. Look, you have one returning starter in DJ Chester. He was your center last year, but guys, he's out of position. He's a guard. He's a massive dude. He should not have been playing center. Chester moves to guard. You bring in Braylon Moore from Virginia Tech. He was an all-conference center at Virginia Tech. You bring in Josh Thompson from Northwestern, who's played guard and tackle, but he was an all-conference guard. He's going to be your starting left guard. So, like, your interior now are 2 guys that were all conference and 1 guy that started every game for you last year, actually now in his natural position. Like, I love that interior of the line. Like, that looks pretty good to me. The 2 tackles are both guys that they signed out of recruiting classes, Tyree Adams and Weston Davis, and both were top 100 national recruits. Weston Davis was a 5-star. So I look at that and I go, I think it looks pretty good. And if they struggle in pass protection, you can always, I mean, LSU's got 4 tight ends. They could always get help with a tight end. You can leave it back into Chip. I mean, and Nuss is a smart guy. He's going to get rid of the football and all this stuff. So I think they're okay there. Again, maybe in December we play this back and the offensive line is a total disaster. And you're all like, yeah, idiot, you lose 4 starters. Of course you're going to be bad. But I think I like what they did in rebuilding that. For me, my biggest question is still what Brandon said, which is the secondary. Like, y'all say the safety play at LSU last year was the worst I've ever seen it at LSU.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And man, no. And they tried every combo you can imagine.
Yeah.
So they went in the portal. I mean, you're sensing a theme here. They went in the portal and they got 2 guys that were all conference. They got TaMarcus Cooley from NC State, who was all ACC. And they got AJ Halsey from Houston, who was all Big 12 and led the country in interceptions last year. Like, so you got those 2 guys, and you're returning Jordan Gilbert, who played basically with 1 arm last year. He had dislocated his shoulder and played a whole season with 1 arm and had shoulder surgery in the offseason. But Jordan Gilbert, who's played a ton of football, is back and is healthy. And Deshaun Spears was a 5-star freshman a year ago, probably just a little early, to get on the field. But a year older, year wiser. So they got talent, they got experience, they got depth. I just haven't seen it. So, it's a question mark until it isn't anymore because it was so bad a year ago. But if they figure out safety, and if the offensive line plays like I think they will, there's not a spot on the field where you go, man, they're going to be really bad there. I mean, because they went and addressed it all in the portal with proven Power 5 guys.
My biggest question is Blake Baker's coming into year 2, and you seen like they showed really good potential early on, especially when they went on that win streak. And I felt like as we started playing like mobile quarterbacks, we just didn't have an answer for that. And I feel like going into year 2, I feel like they've obviously with all the crazy additions, you've addressed a lot of needs. Do you feel like this defense is going to make a major leap in year 2, being in that system for another season? Or
the weird thing is, like, they made a major leap last year under Blake Baker, because remember in 23 the Jaden Daniels team, right? So they had the number 1 scoring and number 1 total offense in the country. They were, it was Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. They were unfair. They were a cheat code. But they literally, that defense in 23 allowed more points and yards than any in the history of LSU football. It was literally the worst defense statistically in the history of the program.
It was bad.
Like, if they were even moderately good, that team.
Oh, they were in the playoffs.
They're in the play. I don't know if they win it all, but they're in the playoff. They're in a that would have been the last year of the 4 team, but they would have been in.
They beat
so you go from being 106th in the country or whatever they were in total defense to in the 60s, which you're still not good, but it's a dramatic improvement from what you were.
And that's what he did at Missouri, too.
Yes. And they went from the 60s into, like, the top 15 and everything. So that's what I tell you, like, Brandon, that's what everybody's hoping for around here this year, is you make another leap like that. You go from, like, 110 to 60 to, like, 20. And if that's the case, and the offense scores like most people think they should be able to, then you have a team that's capable of beating anybody. But if you don't figure it out defensively, and Nuss has games where he struggles to protect the football, well, that's how you end up losing 2 or 3 league games, and you look up and you're 9-3, 8-4, and you're going, you wasted all this talent. You're what Ole Miss did a year ago. Ole Miss last year, people forget this, man. Like, Ole Miss went in the portal and went ham. Like, they added Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, Chris Paul from Arkansas, Princely Umanmielen from Florida, Trey Harris, their freak show wide receiver, Trey Amos. Like, they went in the portal last year and added all the dudes, but they went 9-3 because they lost 3 games they had no business losing. Like, they lost to Kentucky, which was Kentucky's only conference win, absolutely unforgivable. They lost at home to Kentucky. They lost in Baton Rouge in a game where LSU never led until the final score, to Kyron Lacey walk-off touchdown in overtime. Like, Ole Miss had a red zone possession where they came away with no points. Just like the 4th down play where Nussmeier threaded the needle to Aaron Anderson. Ole Miss had no business losing that game. And then they lost to Florida in the swamp, where they had 3 possessions inside the 20 and 3 times went forward on 4th down and came away with no points. Like, kick a field goal and you're in the college football playoff. You're 10-2, you're in the playoff. So, but that's Lane Kiffin. But point being, like, the margin's so thin in the SEC, and you can have a really talented team, but you're going to find yourself in those types of games in this league. You just are. And can you make the plays to win them? And if LSU can, they'll be a playoff team this year. They'll be 10-2 or better, and they'll be in the playoff. But maybe they lose the opener to Clemson, and maybe they lose at Bama, and maybe they throw up on themselves somewhere along the way and lose one they have no business losing at home to South Carolina or something like that. And you look up and you're 9-3, and you're in the Music City Bowl or some crap. No.
I think the thing for me is, you see Nussmeier feeling like he has to be able to do everything because of the lack of the running game. I really want to see if they're going to be able to make those holes. Because, you have a decent running back room. Durham, you have Caleb Jackson coming back. I know Trey Holly's not really a factor. I think Harlan Berry's coming in for year 1. The sky's the limit. The talent is there. It's just like, can you – because I got to imagine if they can run the ball even somewhat efficiently, that'll make it so much easier for them. Their offense won't be nearly as one-dimensional, and they'll be able to score on teams more efficiently and be able to win those games and not losing those stupid ones down the stretch.
And the thing that really hurt them, too, last year, the inability to run the ball, especially in the red zone, really hurt them. You had goal-to-go situations where you're in the shotgun and spreading things out just because you didn't have confidence to just line up and hand the ball to your guy and get in the end zone. Hurt them against South Carolina, hurt them against Florida. They ran they lost the game against Florida. They ran a quick slant for a touchdown. It would have won the game. They got called for an offensive pick, a pass interference pick play. that's just the inability to say we're going to line up and hand the ball off and go right. I mean, the same thing happened against USC in the season opener. Opening possession of the season, right down the field, same thing in a goal-to-go situation. Go for it, get stuffed at the goal line. First possession of the season. I love Caden Durham. And he dislocated a couple of toes in the South Alabama game in the middle of the season. Played the rest of the year with a steel plate in his shoe.
Yep.
I wish I can't even imagine that, but I mean, he averaged 5.5 yards a carry with playing half the season with a steel plate in his shoe. So he's a great back. You're right about Caleb Jackson too. Caleb last year,
I feel like he regressed a little bit. In my opinion,
he was really good,
hitting
man.
The holes is hard. Like,
we talked to Caleb this spring, and he was great. He was very candid, and he said, "Look, I was reading my own press clippings. After he had some big moments in his freshman season.
Yes,
and even last year when I was at SEC Media Days, my hands in the air. People ask some form of the question where they'll say, who's the guy, who's the breakout star, who's the name nobody knows now that everybody will later. And every time I answered that was Caleb Jackson. I thought he was going to have a monster year, and he acknowledged he was out of shape, didn't take care of his weight, his body, and didn't maybe dive into the playbook as much, and he got passed. Caden Durham passed him up, but he could have gone in the portal, didn't. He's a kid from Baton Rouge, always wanted to play at LSU. His family's here, support system's here. And so he made the commitment to, instead of leaving, like a lot of guys would, to making himself better, to be better here. So that's an easy guy to pull for. And I hope he does well. But Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry was the number one running back in the country. He's different stylistically. Harlan's a smaller guy, 5'8", probably 185. But damn, he could fly, and he is so good. Harlan Berry could play receiver. Like, he is such a natural, fluid receiver. So I think he'll make a big impact in the pass game. But they got options, man, at running back. And Nuss got to run the ball too, man. That was a big thing a year ago.
Hesitating, like
he just wouldn't do
too
it.
Much time. Yeah, but he was trying later on in the year, and it worked. I feel like if he just gets comfortable being able to do that, like, that'll really, especially with them short yardage situations or like third down, that's a big difference maker in a drive going all the way down the field that you just pooch kicking it right back to the other team. I mean, like,
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to get a chance to talk to him on Monday. And I'm going to ask him, because to me, the defining play of the season last year, LSU had gotten up into the top 10 in the country after the USC loss. They won 5 or 6 in a row, whatever it was. And they'd beaten Ole Miss, and they're playing in College Station. And LSU got a double-digit lead on A&M. A&M cannot move the football. LSU has them in a chokehold. And LSU's facing a third down, and Nuss rolls left toward the sideline, and you have 3 options. He could run the ball for the first. He could put his head down and run for the first down. It's a couple yards away. He could throw it into row 17, or he can try to make something happen over the middle of the field. And he chose door 3. Threw back over the middle of the field, was picked off. Marcel Reed comes in. 2 plays later, A&M's in the end zone, and then it unraveled in the second half. Yeah. I'm going to ask Garrett. I'm going to say, hey, if I could get you in a DeLorean, crank that thing up to 88, and take you back to that night in College Station, that very play in that moment, what are you doing? You got a do-over. What are you doing? No, I was going to say, because I think it's going to be interesting. His answer to that is going to be interesting to determine what level of growth he's had, like, and what he would do. It's like, if he says, "I ought to run for it," well, that tells me that they've impressed upon him. Look, brother, there are times you have got to go run the football. Like, take what is there, because he wouldn't do it last year. But there was a play in spring, and Kelly gives us a lot of access in spring, which is, it's more than it. I mean, look, I was there for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years of Les Miles and the whole Ogeron era, now Brian Kelly. But I've never been around a coach that gives us this much access. Let's just go watch practice, scrimmages. Like, it's crazy. It's just, that's not really a common thing in college. But we're there at one of the spring practices, and they run a design. It's a zone read, but it was a quarterback keep. Like, it was a design quarterback run off the zone read action. So all the motions going left, and thus tucks it and runs right for like 25 yards. And Joe Sloan, the OC, looks up, and the media was on an observation deck, like right above where they were practicing. And Sloan looks up and goes, "Ah, y'all like that, huh?" Like joking with us because he got so much flack about us not running the football. But it just also goes to show, like, they know it. Like, they know he needs to run the ball more. Like, there's going to be times where I don't care who the quarterback is. Like, if it's there, take it. Move the sticks, get a fresh set of downs, keep the offense going, get the defense, a breather. And it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see what he says to that, because I do think that'll be very illustrative of his mindset, maybe his growth.
And I mean, for him, the intangibles are there. We've seen flashes ever since he first got in early on. He's shown really great promise, but it's just like, man, we get in these situations where it's like, man, why are we forcing it there? Or like, why are we putting ourselves in that situation? And I feel like as the year went on, we did kind of see him cut back on that. But it's like, man, for them to have that success, and I mean, they've done nothing but surround them with talent. Like, I feel like sky's the limit. If we just cut back on those mistakes, like even a minimum, like that offense is going to be hitting on all cylinders.
I agree. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks in the SEC, and there's so much talk about Arch, DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, and I'm going, God, like, I get it. Lagway was a 5-star, but he completed 50% of his passes last year. I mean, Lagway, Sellers is a freakish athlete. That's the combination of the size and the physicality, but his inability to throw accurately is staggering. It's very much like Milroe was at times last year.
You don't want to hear that,
but it's true. I mean, and then you look at Arch, and Arch has started 3 games. I mean, 2 against G5 and 1 against Mississippi State. Again, all those guys are amazing talents. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Central Casting and you're looking for a quarterback, it'd probably look like those 3 dudes. Tall, big arm, great athletes, all that stuff. So, hey, buddy. Grover?
No, bro.
Blower. Oh, sorry. My son's watching the iPad. He's whatever. It's real life. Are y'all dads? Y'all get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sir.
So anyway, the point is, those guys may be great, but it just feels like there's just a lot of unknown with them. Whereas with Nussmeier, it's a 5th-year guy. He's got a 4,000-yard passing season under his belt. Like, I have far fewer questions about if Garrett. Take the Ole Miss game we just talked about, guys. Like, it's 4th down and 7. You've got to get a first down or the game is over. There's less than a minute to go in the game. Garrett Nussmeier doesn't take the check down. He throws a rope into double coverage to Aaron Anders. Like, the lowest percentage play you could possibly make, but he made it and he delivered in that moment.
Very
like,
Favre-esque.
He knows what he can do. Like, he's been there in those moments, and I just have far less questions about us. I mean, the question of can he purge the bad decisions is a fair one. I mean, that could be the thing that unravels the season. But I don't wonder about anything else with him. Those other guys, you just got to wonder if they're capable of making those plays.
A lot more question marks. He's had more proof. Like, he's obviously got the most experience out of pretty much anybody who's starting in the SEC. He's got so much experience. Yeah. He's seen a lot of the ups. He's seen a lot of the downs. And I just feel like this is the time to make that next big step.
Yeah, I mean,
no. I was just going to say, to add on to that. Sorry, Cameron. Like, the narrative around here is, you look at Joe Burrow, who came in, started in 2018 in what was his 4th season, and a pretty good year. Then in his 5th season, his 2nd year as a starter, he blew up.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels came here, started in his 4th year in college, had a good year, blew up in his 5th year, his 2nd year as the starter. You can actually go back and say the same thing about Zach Mettenberger. In 2012, had a very good season. November was much better. But then by 2013, he was awesome, man. That offense was, I mean, people forget, man, that offense in 2013, it was the first in the history of the SEC that had a 3,000-yard passer, 2 1,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard rusher. It was Mettenberger, Odell, Jarvis, and Jeremy Hill.
Yep.
They were awesome. They didn't have a great defense that year, but But all that to say, like, that's what people are hoping is what happens with Nussmeier. Same thing. Waited his turn, started for the first time in his fourth year, had a really good year, comes back for the fifth season, his second year as a starter. Boom. Can you hit that parabolic run? That's the best case scenario for LSU this year.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at LSU, there's a lot less question marks. Now, if you're shifting gears to New Orleans, there's a lot less optimism. I know you're a huge fan of Mickey Loomis. I know. I mean, my consensus is that because you're coming into year one, a new coach. Obviously, there's a quarterback battle. You're thinking if things go how people expect, there'll be a lottery pick, and I want to say Loomis's contract expires after the season anyway. So I mean, if it lives up to what they think it's going to be in the market for a new general manager anyway.
He ain't going anywhere.
No? Oh my gosh.
He's a made man. So he's a made man. I mean, look, you got to remember when there was a time when Tom Benson was still living, when his granddaughter Rita was in the front office and was the heir apparent. Rita was being groomed to take over the franchise.
Yep, I remember.
And Rita and Gail Benson had a falling out. And then what?
What is
go watch your iPad, okay? Go watch your iPad. You're going to watch your iPad, and then mommy's going to come home, and then you can take a bath and go tonight. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
When Rita and Gail had their falling out, basically there were lines drawn in the sand, and people had to pick sides. And so Gail won, and the people who sided with her, she remembers, right? And so she remembers that loyalty. And Mickey was one of those guys. And so he's a made man. He's going nowhere. I mean, it might be a thing where they restructure and bring in a new GM and he takes on more of an advisory role. I don't know, but like he's not getting fired. Like look at y'all watch the NFL.
Yep.
Tell me another organization that could go through what the Saints have been where the GM, there's no repercussions for the GM.
Oh, no, that would never happen anywhere else.
You draft Trey Hendrickson and don't pay him. He leaves and becomes the NFL sack leader. You trade up to draft busts like Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner. You whiff on Trevor Penning after you trade up to draft. I mean, the draft has been a total abomination. You've missed on free agent signings. The guys you'd like to keep, you haven't been able to re-sign because you do bad deals. You're perpetually in this awful cap hell situation because you keep every year, so you don't have the capital to go sign good free agents or re-sign your players. You hire Dennis Allen, that's an absolute abomination. They let him make another. Like, what GM gets not 9 lives, 90 lives? Like, it doesn't happen. Like, but Gail Benson's going to let Mickey do whatever he wants. It's just like, man, they kind of stuck in purgatory now because it's like, man, all they want to do is extend these older players who are long past their prime. And it's like, man, you have some like Zach Bond. You brought up so much Hendrickson as well. Like, you're letting these guys walk. Imagine if you held on to these guys and you're paying them and not giving these older guys. Man, you have a pretty stellar defense. At one time, New Orleans had a good defense. That kind of started like forever ago. Like, it's been a little while. Sometimes, look, and I get it, guys. Like, you can't pay everybody.
Yeah,
like that's the truth. Yeah. Guys outperform their rookie deals. You can't pay them all. I mean, look, I'll take it away from New Orleans, so it's not something that I'm passionate about. Look at Seattle. When Seattle had their Legion of Boom days, right? They hit on Russ, and so they had a third round quarterback on a rookie deal, which allows you a lot of freedom when you're not paying a quarterback 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars a year. Like, you have a lot of capital, and so they had Bennett and Sherman and Earl Thomas and those great teams, Marshawn Lynch. But ultimately, they had to pay Russ. And so you pay Russ, and now you look around and you go, okay, well, who's got to go? And that's when they started to break up Legion of Boom. Yep. I mean, so you have a short window. The Saints had their window, man. And it just and they chose wrong, man. They paid Michael Thomas and they paid Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara. And I don't blame Brian Ramchick. I don't blame them for paying those guys. Those are great players. Yeah. But I mean, you couldn't pay Trey Hendrickson and Marcus Williams at safety. And so you saw guys like Zach Bond walk and Trey Hendrickson. And it's unfortunate. They chose wrong, which gets most GMs fired, but not Mickey Loomis.
But how do you feel about this quarterback competition? Because I mean, nobody's seen. I don't believe I've seen them taking a quarterback in the second round. I didn't think they were going to reach on him. I see the potential. I mean, he's got a lot of college experience, jumping from school to school. He's got good intangibles. I don't necessarily care for the injury history, but I like his arm talent. And you got Rattler coming back, who has potential as well. Like, where do you lean on the fence? Like, who do you feel more comfortable with?
Yeah, I can't give you a great answer, Brandon, because I haven't seen.
Limited samples.
I haven't seen enough, but I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think, and this is just being around long enough and maybe understanding the psychology of coaches and covering these guys and seeing how some of this works. Like, I look at that situation and I go, if Kellen Moore liked Spencer Rattler, they ain't drafting Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, they wouldn't have drafted him that high.
Yeah.
And if you go through the whole process where you do all the top 30 visits and the pro days and the senior bowls and everything, and you're sitting there at 40 and you make the decision, he's our guy. He's your guy. So I think Tyler Shuck is going to be the starter. I like Spencer Rattler a lot. I mean, this is a guy who has the physical ability that at one point he was projected to be the first pick in the draft. Like, the physical ability's there. And I like that he's gone through some adversity too in his life. That's humbling, you know? I said the same thing about Jameis when they signed him. It's a guy that's so athletically gifted and never struggled with anything in his life, not only in football, but in baseball. He's an amazing pitcher in baseball too. Yeah. Number one pick in the draft. And for the first time in his life, he's humbled when Tampa cut him. And you can do a couple things. You can be really bitter, but Jameis wasn't. Instead, he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go sit on the bench for a year behind Drew Brees and learn from a great coach in Sean Payton and a Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees what it takes to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I love that humility, man. And honestly, we forget this, but like Jameis, when he became the starter in 21, they were 5-2, leading the division, beat the defending champ Bucks in the Superdome, and Devin White horse collared him. He tore his ACL. Like, what if Devin White doesn't horse collar Jameis and tear his ACL? How different does that season look? Do they maybe buy into Jameis as their future? Maybe Sean Payton's still here. There's a butterfly effect convo there that could be had. But all that to say, bringing it back to Rattler, I like when someone that's that gifted is humbled and shows their mettle through it. So I'm pulling for him. I mean, I'd like to see him do really well, and not to say I don't like Tyler Shuck. I think he's acquitted himself really well with the city so far, and I think there's also something pretty cool about a dude that's 26 or 27 years old, whatever he is, and he was already married. There's just a level of maturity there that you don't typically get with a guy that comes in at 21, at 22. It's different when you're 26, and I mean, you got when you're 26 and married, than when you're 21 just looking for beer money. You know what I mean? It's just different. Just different.
Yeah. So keeping on the Saints, man. So Brandon has kind of did a lot of content, talking about the what ifs, So after you guys won the Super Bowl over the Saints, right? What happened after that? Because I felt like there was still, like, Will Smith was still there. I think Roman Harper was still there. Like, you had a lot of good pieces still there. Like, why was it only one championship of that good team?
Well, 2011, ask anybody around the Saints.
Best offense ever.
It statistically was the best offense in the history of the NFL. 2011 was a better team than 09. And sometimes it happens, man. That was the year that the Packers won 15-1, and they were the 1 seed. And so the Saints had to travel in the postseason in the divisional round, and they went to San Francisco and played an epic game with the 49ers.
Oh, they scored too fast at the end, man. Gave them too much.
Jimmy Graham scored, left too much time on the clock, and then Alex Smith to Vernon Davis. I mean, that's a play. Look, if the Saints win that game,
Oh, they're playing. They're going to beat the Giants. I feel like that next game.
Absolutely. And then the Saints had already beaten the Giants and the Patriots that year.
They get a Breeze and Brady Super Bowl.
Yes, and so the Saints would have been favored. I can't say they definitively would, but they would have been heavily favored to win the Super Bowl in 2011. But you lost. It's the NFL, man. You lost a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year later, this is the thing, Cameron. Yes, the question that sticks in the craw of every Saints fan. It was Bountygate. I mean, at the apex of what the Saints were, they'd won the Super Bowl. They had a little bit of a letdown in 2010, but 11 they were right back with the best team. And then they got hit with Bountygate and Peyton suspended and the whole thing that happened that year, and the wheels came off. Now, after that, they got back to the playoffs in 2013, but by that point, the core of that team was gone. The coaching staff had changed. And then in 14, 15, 16, they went back to back 7 and 9 seasons. But then they hit on that amazing draft class that had Ryan Ramczyk and Marshawn Lattimore and Trey Hendrickson and Alvin Kamara and Marcus Williams. I mean, they hit on all starters, the entire class. And they got right back in it. And then in 2018, they got Nola no-called, the worst call in the history of the NFL.
Every year, it was something else.
17 they lost on the Minneapolis Miracle. 2018 was the Nola no-call. 2019 they lost to Minnesota again on a push-off by Kyle Rudolph. But 2018 is the one, the no-call, right? I mean, against the Rams in the Superdome. You were the 1 seed. You have the NFC Championship game in the Dome. They throw the flag. You're kicking a field goal, you're in the Super Bowl, and you're beating a very mid Patriots team. So they had their chances, man, but it's hard, man. It's why you respect so much Brady and Belichick winning 6 or Jordan winning 6. It's just like, it's so damn hard. Yeah. I mean, everybody's good. And when you can avoid the pitfalls and the booby traps along the way through a professional postseason, it's so impressive, man. And they got nipped a couple of times,
I mean,
no, man, that was a question that I always wanted to ask, because being in Louisiana during that thing, I was like, man, this team seems like they're on a destiny run. This is good, because growing up, the Saints weren't the team that you rooted for. It wasn't a team that was even on television like that if you weren't regional. So
they won more games in that era, in that stretch, than any team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Consistency.
Yeah.
They just got into the playoffs and had some epic bad beats. I mean, like the Stephon Diggs thing, the Minneapolis Miracle, is just one of the more unfathomable plays where Marcus Williams just was whiffed on a tackle. And anyway, thank you for making me relive all those awful memories, Cameron. I appreciate that greatly.
And not even just that. You were talking about what happened. We talk about the year after that. You go to play a freaking an 8-8, 7-9 Seattle team
after the Super Bowl.
You're definitely favored. You're in a position. You let them hang with you the entire game, and then we get Beastquake, one of the most nightmarish plays that still haunts me to this day. Yeah. It's just felt like, man, like
that team haunt me. I hated that Seattle team because they beat my Rams, and that was the last sniff of a playoff berth we ever had when they were in St. Louis. So I was like, ugh.
the low light reels of the Saints postseason is
demoralizing, dude.
Something to behold, man. I mean, every organization, every team ever has theirs, right? I mean, you've got your worst moments, this and that. I mean, everybody's got them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd put the Saints up there with anybody, man, with their postseason disappointments and the way that it's transpired. I mean, when you can say Beastquake, Nola no-call, Minneapolis Miracle, people know exactly when all of your horrible losses have names, that's he ain't got one of them, be like 5 of them. That's bad.
And they could have all been prevented too. And it's just a couple plays here and there or a missed call. And that's just how the game shakes. But it just felt like, man, it was back to back to back. I'm like, dude, we just can't catch it. It's like they let us win one. And it's like after that, it's like, nope, not happening. It's like, man. And now it's like we're kind of in this state like with no identity, and you're always having to do salary cap gymnastics, and you just can't hit in the draft at all. It's just like, man, like when are we going to dig ourselves out of this rut,
Well, I understand I understand what they were doing at the end of the Breeze era. They were trying to get one more with Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're mortgaging your future to win now. And I was okay. I'm not going to be hypocritical because I was okay with it at the time because I knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they got close, man. In 2018, you're the 1 seed. You're in the NFC Championship game in the Dome, and the Nolan no call happened. But after that, look, Breeze came back in 19, came back again in 20, made the playoffs both years. They came up short. When he retired, they should have hit reset.
Yeah, they tried to hold on to it for too long. You should have clicked that button right then and there. Like, we're gonna dump out all this. We're gonna invest in a young core. We're gonna do what we need to do. And it just felt like they prolonged it too long. And it's
That
like
was the
now
problem.
you're still suffering from that. I mean,
And it's the analogy I've given. It's like I don't know if y'all ever go to a casino, but it's like you're up big,
mm-hmm.
and instead of taking your winnings and going home,
keep going.
You lose it all. And then instead of saying, man, we lost it all, let's go home, you keep going to the cash machine to try to win it all back. And you just keep losing and digging your hole deeper. That's where the Saints are. Like they were up big. They were up big, but then they lost it all. And instead of just going home, getting a good night's sleep, eat you a good breakfast, and go back to work on Monday morning, they were like, where's the ATM? Like, give me more. Get like Clark Griswold in Vegas Vacation, just losing all of his money because he's just trying to win it back, losing it all, trying to win it back. It's like that's been the Saints for the last 5 years.
Yeah, and even the last year they had Breeze, man, they beat Brady twice in the regular season. They owned Tampa in the regular season, and then going into that playoff game, I'm like, man, like just do what you've done all year, and they just couldn't finish it. I'm like, dude, that's a horrible way for him to go out, man. I'm like, dude, that they could have at least won that game. And if you get knocked out after that, cool, but like don't lose to Brady like that. Like,
yeah, the Jared Cook fumble is one that will forever be unforgiven here. For Jared Cook. Oh my God.
It was bad.
I mean, and Drew Brees goes out in an empty Superdome in the COVID year, losing like that to Brady and the Bucks. Ugh.
It was gross.
Awful.
Nah. So my thing in my childhood was running backs, right? I love running backs, man. Obviously you guys had Ricky Williams for a little bit, but
yeah,
like, running backs like that, don't come around that often. But y'all also had a really good running back in Deuce McAllister. I would love to know like how good he really was from like an insider.
Yeah, Deuce was great, man.
What he deserves.
Deuce was great. His career probably got cut a little short due to injuries, and that overlapped with when they drafted Reggie Bush. So you had Reggie and Deuce for a couple of years, and like 6, 7, and then 8, Deuce got injured and his career was over. But I mean, Deuce is a guy that wiped away the embarrassment of the Ricky Williams draft, right? I mean, Mike Ditka traded the entire draft for Ricky Williams, and Ricky wasn't a bad player in New Orleans. He just had some injuries, and as we've later learned, I mean, he just dealt with depression and anxiety. He used to do his interview with his helmet on, and people were like, what's this weirdo doing? But nobody had any concept of legitimate anxiety as a thing. I mean, the guy was was having panic attacks and things. But he went on to have a great career, man. Was great in Miami. He lived in Australia lived in a tent on a beach and smoked a bunch of weed. But do you, man? It's all good. But Deuce was kind of the get right after that, and he was great, man. I mean, even I can even say that being he's an Ole Miss guy, But Deuce was the right guy at that time to kind of help pace the Saints, with the franchise's first career playoff win, in 2000, and then some really bad years with Jim Haslett and the Katrina season and all that sort of stuff. But was there at the beginning of the Sean Payton rebirth, which was as important as any era for the Saints. Was after Katrina happened, the unknown was if the team was even going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the fact that they stay in New Orleans and they had that great season in 2006. Everybody remembers the Steve Gleason block, the Monday night against Atlanta and all that, which is amazing. I mean, it's one of the greatest sports, maybe the greatest sports moment I've ever seen in my life. just because of all the social and human impacts that go far beyond the field. But Deuce was a giant part of that. He was a central figure in the transition of that awful era into the rebirth, and was such a core leader. Sean, there's been a lot of these stories over the years of when Sean Payton came in, and there was a lot of veterans that didn't conform. Wayne Gandy was a guy who, Wayne Gandy sort of infamously had a big leather recliner at his locker, and just didn't. Sean wanted the recliner out, and Wayne Gandy pushed back, so they cut him. I mean, he's a starting offensive lineman. They cut him.
It was.
Dante Stallworth was a first-round draft pick who was a burner, a really good receiver.
Yeah, real fast. Yeah.
From Tennessee.
Yeah.
He wasn't bought in. They cut him. I mean, it just didn't matter who you were. You had to buy in culturally to what Sean Payton was bringing in. And Deuce was the leader of the team, along with, they brought in Breeze, of course, but nobody knew Breeze was going to go on to be what he was. But Deuce was the established veteran and the best player on the team, and was a massive part of that transition.
Okay, man. Like I said, I love me some Deuce McAllister, man. I was like, man, he's good. He's one of my favorites, man. So, I might to go back to LSU for a second, man. So, I was really interested in the era when Nick Saban left, right? I just wanted to know, from an insider, did it come off as this is going to happen? Because he just won a national title. So it's of course the NFL is going to call, but it's was it shocking or was it?
Everybody knew. I mean, the year before he went deep into flirtation with the Chicago Bears. So this is all when Nick came here, everybody knew he always had eyes toward the NFL, that he wanted to go be an NFL head coach. It was only going to be a matter of time. But remember, when LSU hired Nick Saban, he wasn't Nick Saban. He was, he had a 9-win season at Michigan State. That was the best he had had. Yeah. But still, he was different. And certainly when he won the SEC in year 2 and then won his national championship in year 4, there was just always that flirtation from the NFL, and he had the eye for it. Not funny, haha, but just the stories about Miami, courting him, and how Wayne Huizenga, Nick just kept asking for more and more. He wanted more money, he wanted facilities, he wanted spending spree for his wife, and furniture, whatever. And Wayne Huizenga just kept saying yes to everything, everything Nick asked for. Yay! And he said, "Man, he keeps saying yes to everything. It's if I tell him no, nobody's ever going to ask again. If I turn all this down." And Nick's told the story too. And he went and Skip Bertman, who was LSU's athletic director at the time, and went into his office, said, "They're offering me all this," and I think and Jimmy Sexton, who was his agent, said, "Do you want to be Bear Bryant or do you want to be Vince Lombardi?" And he said, "Bear Bryant." He said, "Well, then why are you leaving?" It was, and it just, Nick was just felt like it was something he had to do. It was an itch he had to scratch. So from LSU's perspective, the thing is it's so hard to look at the guy who brought you to the mountaintop and left, come back, and then get to the mountaintop 6 times with a team in your division. It sucks. When had he never left, would have been that probably was your fate, right? You had the greatest coach ever. You just had him one stop too early. But it's also hard not to be grateful for it, because we talked about at the beginning, I mean, Nick showed LSU collectively what was possible. He people say we awakened a sleeping giant. The giant wasn't sleeping. The giant wasn't a giant. It wasn't a giant. It was, LSU was go to the CarQuest Bowl. There was no concept of being great and winning championships. He's the one who showed them this is what's possible here. Maybe he showed LSU they could be a giant. And so for that, I'm forever grateful for Nick, man. He's, I hate that he won so much at Bama just because he did it at Bama. If he had gone to Cal and done it, I'd probably been like, man, that's great. Awesome. Good for you, Nick.
No, because you got to see him freaking once a year.
Yeah, but that's the problem. And you think about this too, like with Les Miles. Les Miles, I get in this argument with LSU fans all the time. I think Les Miles is criminally underappreciated. He won 80% of his games, won a national title, played for a second, which, by the way, he should have won, but for the fact that Bama got a mulligan that they didn't deserve because LSU beat them in Tuscaloosa. Cameron, LSU beat them in Tuscaloosa. They got a mulligan. Lost the game on their home field. They got a do-over. I mean, it's teetotal BS, but it should have been a second national championship. He won 2 SEC titles and played for a third. And he did that in the same division as the greatest coach ever. Like, what if you didn't have to look at Nick Saban every year? How much different does that look? You know?
I agree. I was watching that game and I was like, yo, what is going on? This is not the same team that we didn't score a touchdown for real again. It's like it's not the same team, Yeah. And I think me and Brandon
random in the ground, man. So many stories have been told about that. Thank you now for bringing up my worst college memory, Cameron. I appreciate that. You brought up all my miserable Saints memories, and now you're bringing up the worst LSU memory.
You're not leaving a really good first impression.
Randy, where did you find this guy? What are we doing? Like, let's bring the guest on and make him talk about all of the worst things that have happened to him in his life.
I'm having to relive a lot of it too, so I guess it's okay.
But a happier.
Hey, Cameron, tell me about the time someone ran over your dog.
Oh man.
That's bad. That's bad. No, but in a happier thing though. So you guys, LSU is in a very good spot, right? So my thing is they've done so much in this transfer portal. I'd like to get your thoughts on how important the transfer portal is. We heard all the negatives about it. Players this, players that, coaches this, coaches that. But I would love to hear the positives of it.
I love it. It's just different. I think people that don't like it because it's change. Coaches don't like it because it's harder to keep together a roster. You can spend 3-4 years recruiting a guy out of high school. He's on your campus for 1 year and then enters the portal, and there's no repercussions. I mean, but the line I've used ever since NIL and portal's been in place, I have no sympathy for millionaire head coaches having to work harder now to build a roster. Like, I'm so sorry, coach making $11 million a year that your recruit left and now you have to go work harder then don't coach. Someone else will take that $11 million contract and coach. Right. The thing I love about the portal is it gives guys opportunities to get better. So, for example, you're a 3-star out of high school because at 18, I don't know when you guys started developing fully, but we all know dudes that were 13, 14 years old, shaving, stronger than everybody, right? They just peaked too soon. But the opposite is also true. You have some guys who don't physically come into their own until much later. So, I mean, you're a guy who maybe goes to an FCS school and you're there for 2 years, you become an All-American, and now all of a sudden you have a chance to go play in the SEC and make money that could change your life, your family's life, and get an opportunity to go put on for NFL scouts and show you can play at that level. Hell yeah, that's a great thing. Why wouldn't that be a great thing? I mean, the Power 5 schools get better players. Those players get an opportunity to go make money and improve their draft stock. The smaller schools could look at it and say, well, that stinks. We recruit them, we develop them, and then they leave. Okay. Well, then use that in your recruiting pitch to go say to the next one, hey, come here for a year or two. Look at what we do. We develop these guys, and then they're off to go make money and go to the Power 5, and we'll help you do that. That just has to become part of your pitch. So I love it, man. I mean, I see so many positives to it. Does it suck whenever you recruit a 5-star and they're gone after a year? Yeah. I mean, that's happened to LSU. It's happened to every program.
Yeah.
But then go in the portal and sign someone at their position that's been a 3-year starter and you're instantly better. It's just different. You know, it doesn't change the fact that I'm still cheering for LSU on football Saturdays. Just how they make the roster is just different.
And that's what they did in year one, too.
I
did that in year
too.
one.
I like how the smaller schools are now starting to realize that, you know, like Liberty or Tulane or those schools that are right in a group of 5, right? Like, all right, say, you know, Alabama loses a 5-star. We can get him for 1 year and might be able to get into the playoff, you know? So I do like that aspect of it. Like they can spend, you know, money and get that one piece that might get them, you know? Like I said, you know, that's what I like about it, man.
I know I'm like a real outlier because, I mean, most people who are like, you know, if this is like the middle of the NIL portal thing, most people hate it. And some people maybe are like here. I'm like in my neighbor's house. Like I am all for let them make whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want, whatever. If there's boosters that want to pay them, pay them. If whatever you want to transfer every year, fine. Like, because college football in particular, but all college athletics, since its inception, I shouldn't say since its inception, but to a degree it's part of it because of the bowl structure, but it has been built upon the backs of free labor. And when people say, well, they get an education, that's true. And 75 years ago, when a college education was as valuable as playing football, because nobody was making money playing football 75 years ago, that's true. But as soon as TV contracts and coaches' salaries, really it's been in the last 25, 30 years where everything surrounding college football has become gigantic business. And everybody got rich, except the players. That was the problem. That was the point when they made that decision that we're going to drive this thing forward with sponsorships and with TV revenue and with television contracts and with seat licenses and every way you can imagine, shoe deals and the Allstate logo on the net and everything, bowl game sponsorships, all of it. And we're going to drive revenues to $200 million annually in these athletic departments. And players get nothing. Now, all of a sudden, that general studies degree ain't so valuable. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the only thing in the world where like you can legally just have free labor and they have no recourse with it. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for them making money, whatever some rich guy or gal is willing to pay a kid to go play a game. God bless you, kid. I wish I was so fortunate. I wish I was, but I wasn't good enough, you know?
Yeah.
But good for them who live in this era, who have the opportunity to do it. It should have been done years ago.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
agreed.
And by the way, had it been done years ago, it probably doesn't look like it does now. It probably does look more sensibly, more like true NIL, where you let someone sell their T-shirts. Y'all realize I did a story in 2008. AJ Green was at Georgia, and he got suspended because he sold his bowl game jersey. Like, this is AJ Green, future first-round pick, stud, big man on campus, has no money. So he sells his bowl game jersey and gets suspended for selling his bowl game jersey for a couple $100. Like, that's the kind of nonsensical thing 20 years ago that could have prevented this today from being such a crazy free-for-all.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely understandable. But we've kept you on here for a long time, and you got some things you need to take care of, and we greatly appreciate your time, man. Being on here this long, it means a lot. You know, we really.
I would have kept asking questions. I would have kept asking questions.
Yeah. It's hard to find good, like-minded people, and man, we really like your work. We really admirable what you do, man. And we just want to say we appreciate you for coming on and just being an awesome guest, man.
Hey, man, my pleasure. I appreciate you guys asking. Keep crushing it, okay? We'll talk to y'all soon.
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you.
Have a great night.
All right, guys.
Well, there you guys have it.
There you
first
have
interview
it,
is
man.
in the books. The GOAT himself, man. It was a really good time. Cam, what do you think? How'd you like it?
Oh man, that was cool, man. Like I said, I've seen him like a lot, like through my timeline, just
Oh, I
talking.
was about to say it's probably me blowing up your freaking messenger because I always be sending you stuff.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Definitely not. No, but being, SEC person, he's one of those voices, the like I said, the Paul Feinbaums, right? The Marty and McGee, right? Those guys, Roman Harper, Tebow, all those guys, right? You see those guys and you hear his voice as well, So like that was fun, man. That was fun.
I like the fact that you had a good time and he like one, he's an LSU guy, which I thought was already funny enough. That's another reason why I wanted him on. But
Yeah.
he was I like him because he's very blunt. He was not afraid to just dig at you in a funny way, of course. But it was
No, of course, man.
he was a
Look,
cool mediator, like in
r-
my opinion.
like being a Bama fan, man. I hear it all the time. Like, oh, the 2020 season was fake. I was like, well, yeah, but
But I don't care. It still counts.
yeah, it still counts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear it all the time. I hear it like you're just a fair weather fan or whatever. But look, I can't help that I made a choice not to like LSU over Alabama at the time, right? Like, just got good at the right time, you know. But nah, man, that was fun, man. Like I said, we hope y'all enjoyed it, man. This is fun, man. So we're gonna try to keep doing this. Our schedules are crazy right now, but that's all right. That's all right, man. We just continue to bring this good content to you guys, man. So if you ain't got nothing else, Brandon, we go chill.
So I really hope you guys enjoyed. This is something we've been trying to do with people for the longest. It just felt like every time we get something set up, we run into a brick wall. We were supposed to have a former college football player playing NFL right now. Didn't work out for whatever reason. So for this to work out the way it did, I'm really grateful. And for anybody, and I just want to say one more thing. For people that
No,
are
no,
either
no.
for anybody that's either doing content creating or thinking about it, it can be very frustrating at times. Like when you're trying to make things shake and you're trying to make things happen and you might be scared to do things. Like it's intimidating to reach out to some of these guys because like him, for instance, he's awesome. He's cool. Like I watch him all the time and I'm like, man, I'm probably not going to get a response, but he surprised me. Really humble, really cool guy responded. So like the biggest thing is don't be afraid to just step out and try something. Like, and you could ask Cam in the comments. Like I'm always trying to shake things up. I'm always trying to find somebody, and it's easy to get discouraged when either you don't get a response or things aren't moving. But like, just keep your head up and keep trying. Like we've been doing this 2 years, and this is the first time we've been able to do this. So it's a great step, and I hope we can maybe have him on, or maybe some other really cool people on moving forward. But I really hope you guys enjoy it, man. The guy stayed on here over an hour. Didn't have to. He was a very, very considerate and very awesome. So.
Oh man, of course, man, of course. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous as hell. I was like, man, this first interview, I'm like, I don't want to ask no
Yeah,
controversial shit.
and then you put me on this, and then you put me on the spot. Say, "Oh yeah, introduce him." Like, my bad.
Well, I didn't want to I didn't want to impronounce his name. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that at all, man. So I was like, no, no, you do it. You do it, man. But yeah, man, we appreciate all of the viewership we got, man. The live was definitely pretty good. So y'all just keep on doing it. I'm about to hop back on college football 26 because Alaska Tech just made the college football playoff. So
And then,
what
and
built that thing up so we made the college football playoff. Unfortunately, we got our ass kicked by Tulane because they're like a group of five on steroids. So that's okay because we about to restart the Pac-12, baby, and we about to be the face of it. So
be dope.
that's gonna be dope as hell. So we hope y'all enjoy it, man. Shout out, yeah, Kendall, let's go Huskies. That's the name of the team. So let's go Huskies. Appreciate my little brother in this thing. See that
See, that's
smooth
smooth.
man. Always touchdown troop. We appreciate the W. We appreciate the love from my wife Jerry and our brother Andrew. So we appreciate the love there, man. But stay tuned. You know, we got the AFC breakdown this Sunday. So you know it's gonna be some back and forth between, you know, the Lamar Jackson fan himself and the Drake May fan sitting across from me virtually, you know. So it's gonna be fun, man. So y'all tune in for that, man. Like I said, we got game streams, we got that audio. This is gonna be on the audio. So y'all keep on supporting that as well. Right. So y'all just support us everywhere. It's at the bottom of the screen. So pause the video, check it out, all of that, man. But we about to get up out of here, dog. Peace.
Peace.